Okay, I asked the question,
Who is the Sergey Kovalev?
who is Sergey Kovalev? Because I asked who is Sergey Kovalev because to the consumer and to Americans, he comes off as maybe misogynistic, meaning that the comments he made about Carissa Shields, about women shouldn't be boxing. And then when you look at Carissa Shields, you see her black skin, right? And then you think back to the Donna Stevenson comments, you think, who is this guy? Is he generally a good guy, or should we think negative about it? Is he doesn't care about anyone? Does he only care about himself? That's what I was trying to ask. Okay, so go ahead.
I understand. It's absolutely, completely misunderstanding about Sergey, because Sergey does this kind of work. He goes in the ring and punish people. That's why a lot of people getting a lot of negative about him. But then he's outside of the ring. He's a completely different person. He's a good family man. He's a good father. He's a good friend. And sometimes the mistakes made talking with Adonis Stevenson, because we got mad on Adonis Stevenson, he didn't even thought about hurting him or hurting society about making his comment. We have to remember, him and other people, even including myself. I live in the United States already for over 25 years, so I learned. But in the beginning, for me, it was a completely different culture. And people coming, give you an example. Let's send Americans to live to Siberia. How can he survive? How can he adapt to that culture? How can he understand what is going on? And especially being here, a lot of people looking for that little bit limp. If somebody's limping, they're trying to crush him all the way to the end. That's what exactly Sergey does in the ring. If he hurts a little bit, he's crushing till the end to get the victory. And a lot of people here doing the same thing. They're trying to find something somewhere or try some negative things about it.
Sure.
But he's not, for sure. I've been with him for many years, and absolutely he's not person a lot of people think about that.
Now, some people might say it's been a continuum, like, for example, the Carissa Shields, Adonis Stevenson, and then when he fought Grover Young, I believe he called him, I quote him, a thoroughbred nigger or something like that, and John Pascal alluded to that. So that's why one of the reasons why I'm here is to talk about the fight, in addition, so people can understand who he is, because I don't want misunderstanding. Like you said, too much misunderstanding, correct?
Exactly.
So, John Pascal called him a racist here. Arthur Benavides called him a racist. You see what I'm saying? So I'm talking to you so we can get clarification before I write my articles, before I post. So that's why I want you guys to tell us who Sergey Kovalev actually is. And is he this person? Is he this monster people portray him to be?
Personally, I can tell you it's completely opposite way. It's completely opposite way. And first of all, when we came from, we didn't have people with a dark skin. Okay, but we came here, we adopted. It's not the big, it's not the big difference. And if you look at him, he has trainers are black-skinned people, John David Jackson, Don Turner, etc., and a lot of people saying, he talks about that. Did he ever say a bad word about the Bernard Hopkins? Bernard Hopkins is a black man too.
Is Bernard Hopkins? Okay.
And even before the fight, no matter what they've been talking about it, he never said anything bad about Bernard Hopkins. After the fight, they became good friends. We became fellows. Every time Bernard Hopkins says, and even Bernard Hopkins, when he read that article, he looked at it and said, listen, he says, I know a man, it's a bullshit. If it's a racist anywhere here, he says, I am a racist. That's what Hopkins said. It's not him. So, a lot of people see different way, and a lot of people they wanted to see it. That's the way you see it. It's not that what's the truth.
So it's just propaganda.
I would say it's 100%.
Okay. Now, I've never heard a fighter really say this is a 50-50 fight. I've never heard a fighter say that. Is this, obviously you think Sergey Kovalev is going to knock him out like he's done everyone else.
He's taking this fight very seriously. He's talking to me very seriously. He says, Egit, this is a very important fight for me. This is one of the most challenging opponents I'm going to face it. He understands. That's why he's saying. The one thing about Kovalev, he is very honest. He's very honest. He always, he's not like a guy who sees white and says black. He's not a guy who sees black and says white. He's a guy who says what he sees. He's never gonna, if something's gonna bother him, he's gonna tell you right in front of you. If he thinks this is a fight 50-50, he mean it. He gives a lot of credit to Andre Ward. You heard it. He says Andre Ward is not a boy. It's going to be a tough fight. I am preparing for the tough fight. Listen, HBO been in this sport for a long time. They're not going to put just for no reason on the pay-per-view fight. People not going to talk for no reason. This is a pound-for-pound fighter, the winner of that bout. People not going to say experts. I'm not saying like people on the street. Experts who follow in boxing. They're saying this is a fight of the year. They're not going to put 60, whatever, 25, 75 fight on the pay-per-view. They're not going to give a pound-for-pound guy for that kind of fight. That's what, the last time like that, the last time fight, two undefeated guys, paid pound for pound, was Oscar De La Hoya and Trinidad, 17 years ago. That's what we can compare something. No, there has been a lot of good fights in between, I'm not saying, but that caliber fight.
So, what's the advantage? What's the distinct advantage Sergey Kovalev has over Andre Ward?
Because he's a mean in the ring.
He's mean?
He's mean. In the ring, he's really mean.
So is Andre Ward.
Yeah, that's true.
They both motherfuckers. For the sake of a bet.
But don't forget, Sergey Kovalev has something what he can lose. 3 titles. Andre Ward doesn't have that. And Sergey Kovalev needs to keep it. Andre Ward wants to get it. Keeping and getting, it's a 2 different little bit things.
Is Sergey Kovalev really holding back? Because I look in his eyes, when he talks about Andre Ward, it's not the same as his eyes. I think he really wants to destroy. Like, for example, I watched the John Pascal fight, right? And I thought he kind of held him up. He wanted to punish him as opposed to knocking him out.
That's true.
and I see the same thing that in the press conference. He wanted to fight him in the press conference. I saw it. I see the same thing in the eyes now against Andre Ward.
He wanted to punish Pascal for trash talking. He said, even before the fight, he said, I'm not going to knock him out. I'm going to make him hurt. He has to pay for that trash talk. Andre Ward just right now a little bit start talking. Not much, but he already started talking. Before that, they had a very big respect. Sergey never said bad things about Andre, but right now I can see already articles. I'm gonna win that bully. Sergey says I wanted to kick his ass, so it's already starting. We're getting closer to the fight. Stay tuned.
Thank you, brother.